So,
Go on.
Berta,
Yeah.
describe your character for the viewers, please.
Oh boy. So Dr. Isaac Tone would actually have his eyes look like they have been just scarred over the years and time, so he has no irises to them. They're sort of like that empty void, but he can still see perfectly fine out of them. He has gnarled black horns that reach up behind his head with a chain broken betwixt the two of them. Jet black hair that is very well kept, and a long ponytail behind his head. His face is marred, scarred. It looks like he has seen thousands of battles in his lifetime. Kind of a feel. He is wearing a surgeon's coat, like your stereotypical movie surgeon's coat, but it looks extremely old. Like it is well used. If you look down his arms, if you ever see his hands and arms, it looks like the same scarring on his face is on his arms. The other two significant features is he has these two protruding wings coming out of his back that look extremely damaged, as if at one point they did provide him with the ability of flight, but now they are almost completely useless for that effect. And he would have cloven hooves.
I was about to say, what about these guys?
Yeah, he has cloven hooves, so it causes him to have sort of that swaying gait. So he doesn't walk normally with shoulders face forward. He has to like sway back and forth. But yeah.
I got you. So, you find yourself at Blackberry Farms. You have been here for, was it a week?
A week or two, yeah.
A week or two. And your shame. You've been at Blackberry Farms for about a week or two. There, you have found a place of a natural position helping those that are injured. This all occurred because of Kavram. Kavram is a gruff and mean worker that works at the Blackberry Farms. He has worked there probably the longest, having had been there since he was 16, now being in his late 20s. Kavram, when you came into this area, had a broken arm. He claims that this broken arm was done in the middle of the night, fending off a giant that had been terrorizing the area. Whenever the owners of the Blackberry Farm, Apris and Mirtha, they claim to be sisters, though they look nothing alike.
Okay.
Apris and both of them human, by the way. Apris and Mirtha met you. They saw your coat. They asked you if you knew anything about medicine. I assumed you agreed. You did.
It would be weird. He would like, I know. He would never say, "I'm a doctor. I know a lot about medicine." He's like, "I know a lot about the body and how to fix it." Mm-hmm. He. It's like almost as if the word doctor does not exist in his vocabulary. Yes.
Despite that, it seems everybody at Blackberry Farms, after you have patched up Kavram, has taken a liking to calling you doctor.
Correct. Because he is everything that is. It's just he does not use that word.
Correct. And you corrected people, I assume, for probably the first couple days?
Maybe even a half a day. Like I just gave up.
Whatever. In Blackberry Farms, there is a handful of other people that work there. All of them seem to have taken a liking to you, except, semi-ironically, Kavram. You patched up Kavram, but he never thanked you. And he still doesn't seem to trust or like you.
For me, that would almost be the norm. Mm-hmm. Like, I expect that everyone else being nice to me is weird.
Right.
That's my expectation.
However, there are 3 children that work there. An older brother and his 2 younger twins. The older brother is Flint, and his twins are Vayram and Forik. Vayram being the youngest of the 2 twins by, as she claims, an hour. And her next oldest brother, Forik. Vayram and Forik are only 12 years old, and they seemed very put off by you at first, having had never seen a tiefling in real life before. and kind of murmuring that you might be a devil. But as you begin to like show kindness and you begin to help people and do things here at Blackberry Farm, they have taken a liking to you,
Right.
finding more fascination in your looks than fear of them. The night you find yourself in, it is raining. It has come kind of a downpour as the day was drawing to a close, so you kind of got a couple of hours off of work early. And I would imagine you spent that time in you're in your room poring over your books, just kind of taking the time to yourself. In the middle of the night, though, I would say probably around midnight. Would you be asleep by then or not?
No.
Not at midnight? There is a knock at your door, and it is a timid one.
It is a
You see the sigil appear, and then Perry's dad goes in. It's like, Perrin's coming. I teleported him here, but I got here before he did. That's how fast I am. But there is a timid knock.
I would just say, yo, come in.
The door opens, and you see 16-year-old Flint there. He has this kind of auburn color to his hair, and these deep blue eyes. Looking at them at first, you would think they were brown because they're so dark, but upon closer inspection, they are indeed blue. He steps into the room, and you see he has a rag covering his hand as he just kind of timidly says, I didn't wake you, did I, Doc?
No, what did you do?
Well, it's not so much what I did, it's what I was trying to do.
Symptoms.
He removes the bandage, and you see a cut on the palm of his hand.
I would just exacerbably, just grab a bag, open it up, and I would just start, just grab his hand, just pull it in, and start just wrapping it up and treating it.
As you begin to treat his hand, he sits there, and he begins kind of looking over everything in your room, right? He's talking to you, but he's not looking at you. Flint has always regarded you as kind of just a normal person, but it feels forced. It feels like he is treating you too normal, and that puts you off a little bit more than how everybody else has been treating you. Flint says, he is also soaking wet, by the way. He says, I remembered that I had left the bucket with blueberries outside, and because it started to rain, I meant to go back for them, and when I did, I was taking them back into the barn, and he said, and I found a rusty nail on the wall.
Sort of bucket on my side, I cast a spell, create water, fill it back up with clean water, soak a rag into it.
I would assume it's no surprise that you can do things like that, but he still thinks it's fascinating. Every time he sees you do that, you see his eyes just lock on, and he's just like, whoa. So, Doc,
Yes.
I've never really asked before, but how can you do that? Are you a spellcaster, a wizard, maybe?
I have no idea. No, of course not.
Oh.
The wizards in my time were not the nicest of people.
And how old are you?
Well, at least 300.
Do tieflings normally live that long?
Up to 500, 800 on a good day. It depends.
Oh, so you're middle-aged? He says hesitantly.
Equivalent of 35 in human years.
Oh, he says. So...
Talk about the ones in the room. It's fine. You're not going to offend me.
Oh, he says... He says, my parents have always taught me to treat people with the utmost respect, and ever since you've gotten here, you've been nothing but helpful. No matter what Veyram says. I'm sorry, not Veyram. Kavram. No matter what my brother says. He says, no matter what Kavram says. You see his eyes get kind of wide as he realizes what he said, kind of throwing Kavram under the bus.
You don't think I haven't noticed. Anyways, let's go find this nail so you don't cut the other hand.
As you say that, you hear heavy and panicked footsteps start to come down the hallway. As
My eyes would just immediately roll as I just grab the bag, pick it up. What now?
As the door opens up and Kavram is standing there, his arm still in the sling, right? As he steps in, Kavram stands well over 6 feet tall. He's broad, and he is not what you would call a pretty man. He has a very chiseled jawline, which may be his only flattering, his only flattering feature. His hair is matted and not cut well, as if he cut it himself and he doesn't know what he's doing. His hands are scarred, his body is weather-worn, and to say he's ugly is fair, but he is also very strong. Kavram opens the door and he says, "Doc, we need you. It's back."
Without hesitation, I would just start following him.
He turns and begins heading out. You walk outside, and the storm greets you as you do so. You just walk into this wall of water as he begins to make a beeline for the barn. Here at Blackberry Farms, there are a few animals. Most of them are for for the patrons that come. For the rooms that Blackberry Farm provides, and even the food that they provide. So you have a few pigs, a few cows, a few goats, things like that. And this barn is not really ever used for housing all of those animals. It's used for specific purposes, like if a cow's about to give birth, or if something is injured. And right now, there are a few calves that had been sick. 2 of them specifically, and they are being kept in the barn. Now, something that everyone has mentioned about this thing that's been plaguing Blackberry Farms is that it mourns, that it makes this keening noise that seems to echo out in this almost ghostly wail. By the way, this is raining. You can't really tell, but it is.
I see all the rain.
So go ahead and place your figure.
Yeah, that guy.
Somewhere along the exterior of the building.
I don't really know where you want it.
Sure.
Okay.
He would know better where I'd be.
As you begin to make your way towards the barn, you see Shalina. Shalina is a half-elf. She's not strong, but she is very smart. And her main focus is cultivating and taking care of the blackberry bushes that you have there. You have fields of these blackberry bushes, and most of the time it seems like you produce more blackberries than you know what to do with. But she finds them fascinating and has been able to domesticate them so they don't have thorns or as many seeds, and they grow bigger, making Blackberry Farms an oddity and very popular. She hasn't been there as long as Kavram has, but in the time, and she has been there the second longest, in the time she has been there, she has pulled her weight more than probably anybody else to make money for the place. Not in just hard labor, but in producing these blackberries.
A botanist, if you will.
A botanist, if you will. Next is Bariv. Bariv is a dwarf. Bariv has thick black hair that he keeps kind of combed back. He has a beard, but only from his chin, and it drops down to well below his waistline in a braid with kind of a metal ring to it to keep it from like really going anywhere. It just kind of weights it down. Bariv is kind of lean for a dwarf, and he's a jokester. Like, every time he sees you, he's making puns and jokes, mostly to your dismay. But he thinks you think he's the funniest thing alive. As you begin to approach the barn, you see both of them flanking either side of the door. The door is wide open. Outside doors open outside. And you see something that you weren't really expecting. A blue glow emitting from inside of this barn. and you hear this deep, guttural emitting from inside the barn. Kavram will run up, and he will also run to the side of the door next to Bariv.
I would just naturally walk up to the door.
Okay.
Because I also think, because I have, it's a 26-year-old, like a 20-year-old, and, right, like I have a bunch of teenagers and young adults, so I just sort of approach the door and then come, and I just simply would say, "Who is in there?"
It's it, Kavram says.
I wasn't asking you. I was asking it.
Oh, you shout that into the barn?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. That's my bad. Kavram knows what's up.
I feel like Kavram would all, like that was that.
That's
that
also
happens.
Kavram? I got you. Oh, that was already open.
I like it better in the idea that he turns aside. I wasn't talking to you.
It's the thing. I know it's the thing.
Kavram, buddy.
Sweetheart. As you shout that to make yourself known, you hear it immediately stop. You hear the and it goes quiet. You're greeted by nothing but the rain and that same blue glow emitting. You look into barn?
Yes. At this point, I've always kept a set of chains on my right hip. I'd pull out those chains and I'd crack them like a whip.
Oh, that's big.
Large even.
Mechanically. You snap that chain, and as you do so, the water on it busts off in a mist. And it echoes out. Bariv kind of leans over to Kavram, and he says, "Looks like he's getting cracking." Kavram goes, "That was barely a joke." As the rain's pouring over you,
By the way, I do have dark vision up to 120 feet.
okay. Shalina says, "Be careful, Doc. We don't know what this is."
And wouldn't it be interesting to find out? I take a step forward.
Looking into the barn, you can clearly see it, having a direct line of sight to it. It's back to you. You see water rolling over it, and it looks just to be a hulking mass of a humanoid creature. And it's on its knees back to you, and long black hair that drops down over its shoulders. You see the pen to where the calves were being held is open, and you can hear the other calf in there mooing out in panic, but you only hear one calf mooing out. Now, in the time that you've been here, you've heard of this thing. They call it the Weeping Giant. But it has never hurt anything before. The only reason it hurt Kavram was to escape from him. Kavram claims that it attacked him and broke his arm, but Shalina, who was there, said it was merely running, and she said Kavram thought he could stop it, which he could not, and that's why it broke his arm. This, if it's in there doing what you think it is, you think it might have killed one of these calves. And that's the first time it's ever really hurt anything. Most of the other times it's come into Blackberry Farms, it's stolen bushels of blackberries or a barrel of water or something to that effect, but rarely really damaging anything, and oftentimes taking off without hurting anything. But this seems different.
Who are you?
It kind of like turns, and you see this piercing glow look at you. Go away.
My eyes are going to turn from that empty white to they're going to almost fill with a pale green color as I cast Death Watch, which is the thing that a previous character we saw like green, yellow, red.
I got you.
I can just do that as a racial ability. Basically trying to see how healthy this thing is.
You can't really tell like how durable it is, only how if it's hurt or not.
It's
Yeah.
a percentage based.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, so it doesn't know what its health pool is, but it knows what percentage of health it's at compared to what it should be.
I feel you, dog. It seems healthy. Whatever's there seems healthy.
So like nothing's hurt it or
physically.
Leave me alone, it says.
What have you done with her calf?
It stands up. As it does so, you look down and that health bar is very empty as you see a calf laying on the ground. Roll me a heal check.
The vision also allows me to see. I will check the range on that spell. If it is completely dead. It's not where it should be.
I don't know why, but I feel like it's 30, but I could be wrong on that.
It has a range of 30 feet.
So smart.
The spell itself has a range of 30 feet.
Oh, so you wouldn't be able to see the...
Even his
giant.
health bar?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see the giant.
Okay, then I would approach to where I was within 30 of the giant.
I would say as you enter into the barn and the storm is muffled out, hitting instead the shingled roof instead of just straight pouring onto you like it was, stepping into the barn, you're greeted with that same kind of musty smell of hay and straw and farm animals, things like that. But as you step in, it turns to face you as it holds out a large and massive hand. It looks huge. Do you have knowledge nature?
Nope. Not even a Glasgow. Rolling for 10. No.
You do not know what this is, but it very much fits the description that everyone has given it as a giant.
Right.
It turns to face you. It has a very prominent eyebrow ridge. It has a broad and flat nose, and it seems to have a bit of an underbite. Its hands are filthy, and it is soaking wet. You see it has a cloth wrapped around its waist, and even though it is massive and thick in stature, it doesn't look very fat. It looks very lean, and most of the time you think of a giant, you think of them having like a gut or being kind of brutish looking. This one looks lean, but it does, however, stand 10 feet tall.
Oh boy.
And the roof of the barn being 30 feet tall, this thing can stand to its full stature as it holds out its hand. Something that you notice is it has a small stone that's emitting a light that circles around its head, illuminating that immediate area like a torch.
So the moment it holds out his hand, I'm like, oh, I'm doctor. They call me healer. I can help.
He looks down at the calf. Roll me that heal check.
Nat 20?
Oh my
26.
gosh! So you do notice that it was suffering from an abscess in its hoof. That's why it was put into the barn. You can see it was healing up nicely, and they had like clipped the hoof, giving it a nice little. But that's with your nat 20. The most pressing thing you notice about the calf, it is very, very dead. Its head has been rotated completely the wrong way.
I can't fix that.
There, fixed. It looks down at the calf and it looks at you. I'm sorry. I didn't want to kill it. I had to.
Why? Friend? Why?
Roll me a diplomacy.
Maybe
Diplomacy.
17.
Oh, wow.
That's purely on the dice.
I had to. They told me to.
Who is they?
They, the lizards.
The lizards? I'm sorry. Where are the lizards?
Lizards. Their home.
Which is?
My home.
Which is?
Home. It seems like he doesn't understand what you're asking, what
Point
you're
to
driving.
home.
He points at the wall. But he does point in the general direction of west.
Okay. Do I know basic, like, what they have described to be that direction?
So you would know that that is Charles Ridge, is the direction that he's pointing at. Charles Ridge is named after an adventurous halfling that came here probably 20 years ago, spent a ton of gold, sang some songs, and then went off towards the ridge, claiming that he knew of a secret treasure there and never came back.
Well, boy,
Nobody really heard from him since, so nobody's like he's dead or anything. But they've just since gone to calling it Charles Ridge. Do you have knowledge history?
no.
Then you don't know what it was called before it was Charles Ridge. Still not.
Planes, I got you.
Trains and automobiles.
Did the lizards make you do that? With magic.
Oh,
How did they make you do it?
what magic? He looks confused. And because you've asked him a question that seems to confuse him and that seems to scare him, go ahead and re-roll me that diplomacy.
Yeah. Nat 20.
Oh my goodness. He doesn't know what magic is, but he's oddly comforted by it.
I like, with this arm, I'd show him the golden chain tattoo, and it sort of glows this, like, ethereal golden light. Magic. It can help.
It make darkness go away.
Kind of.
Yeah, it make darkness go away.
Yes, like your stone.
Yeah, floaty rock make darkness go away.
Did they use stuff like floaty rock?
No,
Did they say special words?
they took baby.
They have your baby?
They took baby away.
Oh no.
Kavram says, "What's going on in there?"
You hush!
When he shouts, you see the giant take a step back like that frightened him.
He's mean. Don't worry about him. Yeah. I don't know what's up with this size. 18?
Gracious. Why shouting?
He's angry. He's always angry. It's his thing. He also doesn't like it when people break his arm, but you know, we don't mean to do the things that...
Hey Doc, you hear Baron say,
Yeah?
"I don't know what you're doing in there, but I think you better hurry. Kavram just went over to the tool shed."
The cow is already hurt. We can explain that. You probably need to go away.
I have to take her.
To the lizards?
Hmm?
Then do that. It is okay. We have plenty.
You're not going to yell at me
Why would I yell at you?
for hurting cow.
It was already hurt.
He begins to cry, like actual tears begin streaming down his face when he says, "But cow is dead," as if he's mourning over the death of this calf.
Look to your left. The other left. Do you see the other calf there?
I'm not going to hurt it. I'm not going to hurt calf
The cycle of life
anymore.
The cycle of life will continue. The cows will have more cows. Take that one and feed the lizard people. I will get a search party for your child. We'll help you out.
Search party?
We'll help
For
you.
baby?
We'll help you find baby. Okay?
He begins to cry even more.
Take cow.
You promise?
On my heart, and trust me, that means something for me.
Goatman friend?
That's a first. Sure, go man friend. You can call me Isaac.
He grabs the calf by the leg. He lifts it up and like effortlessly. This calf probably weighs well over 100 pounds.
I take a step back when he does that.
And he begins to walk towards you with heavy, muddy footsteps.
I would turn around once he's coming towards me. I was like, you guys may want to clear the doorway. You'll get to see the weeping giant. He's actually kind of nice. What is your name, my weeping giant friend?
He thinks for a moment. I don't have a name. No one's ever gave me one.
I'm going to call you Bob.
Oh, what's it mean?
Friendly.
I'm Bob. You're Bob too.
Well, thanks.
Some people aren't Bob.
They're really Caverin back there? Totally not Bob. That's what
No.
Caverin means, not Bob.
No, he's lizard people, caverns.
Oh, okay.
They're not Bob either.
I would go. We'll will come help. It may be a bit. Okay? Okay, Bob. You can call me Isaac, by the way.
Isaac Bob.
Sure.
Bob's.
Bob, please go now. You're killing my friend.
I'm just sitting here thinking, we got to get this guy in the party.
We will have a level 16 giant.
My favorite part is just the crossed eyes as you're doing that.
I can't see but one from my.
I didn't even know he was crossing it.
I just thought his eyes were doing this.
Trust me, they are. Please go. Take care. Stay safe. Avoid caverns as much as you can. I step out of his way.
You step out of the way.
Easer.
He begins to walk forward. As he does so, Barib says, "It's fine, Cavern. It's saying, uh-oh." When he says that, the giant steps through the doorway. Cavern has a scythe, wielding it only with one hand because the other one's in the sling. He's bracing the back of it against his lower half as he holds it in the crook of his arm, swinging the two-handed weapon best he can at the giant as it steps out.
Is there any way I can try to get in the way of that swing?
I'm going to say this is an attack round, or a surprise round, a surprise attack round.
No one saw this shit.
So yeah,
Everyone saw this coming from Cavern.
We thought he was in the tool shed. Not the tool shed.
well, I mean, he was in the tool shed. Oh, Cavern, that's not impressive. So, especially since he's taking a -4 to it. Attacking the giant with an 8. It wasn't as bad as it could have been.
It's still been
Did
hit.
his touch AC?
He rolled
yeah.
a 12.
Oh yeah. It just hit his touch AC. He swings as the giant steps through the door. You see the scythe hit in the nape of his neck, and it looks like it just kind of and sticks, as if the blade sunk itself into his hide without really going any deeper, as if you swung an axe into a tree and it just got stuck in the trunk of the tree. You see the giant look at the scythe and look down at Cavern, and you see Cavern with his broken arm and scythe in hand look up at the giant with legit fear in his eyes.
My tone was very much so dark, and I was like, Cavern, I can heal people back from the dead.
Is Cavern? Cavern bad person? He grabs the scythe, easily pulling it out of Cavern's one hand. Says, Cavern hurt, boy! He throws the scythe, and you just say, the people in the next county now have a scythe.
Staring daggers at Cavern, just like...
As he begins to charge, and he begins running in a dead sprint, provoking an attack of opportunity from Barib, who uses the attack of opportunity and says, "Oh no, he's getting away." As Bomb begins to just dash through the mud.
Is he going west?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as fast as his big feet can carry him. Shalina, as he runs off, Shalina watches him go, looks at Cavern, and it goes... And then, kind of looks in the barn and looks at you and says, "Did it kill a calf?"
He's being forced to by lizard people on Charles's Ridge.
Lizard people?
That's what he said.
Hobo?
I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with a giant before. Not the brightest of individuals. Cavern, I want you to go in there and clean up the mess he made.
He says, hang on. What's the word I'm looking for? When you've been somewhere the longest.
Seniority.
Seniority. He says, "I think seniority takes precedence here. I'm trying to stop this from happening, and you're giving it names!"
Uh-huh. I also stopped it from hurting anyone else in here, and now I know why it's hurting people. Would you like to put the Band-Aid on it? Would you like to stop the broken arm from being broken again?
You see Cavern's glare kind of rest up from your face as if he's trying to process the analogy, right? Shalina says, to interpret that for you, sweetheart, he's right and you're wrong.
Thank you.
Those are kobolds, she says. Kobolds used to attack this farm years ago, before you got here.
So probably they're coercing him into doing it because they have his child. He's a frightened parent.
He has a child?
Apparently. All the
I see what you did there.
Nice.
All the kobolds are now called caverns by him because of some idiot who's mean and rude.
Barev goes, he's talking about... I know he's talking about me. As he kind of...
So, we need to all get inside. Someone should clean up the mess they've made.
Barev goes, not it. Shalina goes, not it, as they
Not
begin
it.
to walk off. Cabram says, what? No, I'm the only one doing anything about this, he says, shouting at the group as they begin to leave.
As they leave, my eyes turn that green again, and I was like, there's someone who's relying on me for medical care. I would not do anything stupid and or rash again. And I just turn and walk away.
I'm supposed to take care of this with one hand? As the other calf walks past him, as he begins to chase it, it's like, and runs
I
off
just
into the
over
field.
my shoulder say, you should probably take care of that too, and I just keep going.